The first item on our list are double waffle makers. Now, I know what you're thinking, why would a waffle maker be worth so much money, even upwards of $100? And the reason is pretty simple. These double waffle makers are vintage. This is by Waring Pro. A lot of you know Waring Pro as a Walmart brand, but back then, Waring used to be a really good brand, makes high quality stainless steel waffle makers, and people just love the novelty of these. They like that they're sturdy, that they're reliable, and most importantly, that it's a double. It's not a single waffle maker where you can only make one at a time. With these, you can make two at a time. I know that kind of sounds stupid, but hey, people pay for this kind of stuff. Now, you can find these everywhere from thrift stores to garage sales to flea markets. I mainly buy them at thrift stores anywhere between $14 and $30. And the single ones only go for about $40 to $50 if you can find vintage Waring ones like this one. But if you're able to find double waffle makers, they can go upwards from $80 all the way up to $150 plus shipping. This particular one I have listed for $100 plus shipping. I only paid $7 for it on Facebook Marketplace. So yeah, this is definitely gonna be a really good profit when it sells. And the sell-through rate is pretty good. Depending on the model, it's anywhere between 50 and 200%. Next up on the list are DVD VCR combo players. Now, I'm sure you've heard a lot of people talking about DVD VCR combo players because they go for a lot of money. This particular model, it is made by Magnavox. Magnavox DVD VCR combo players are oftentimes the most valuable ones, though they can have a range. This particular one, if it works, plus shipping, it'll go for a little over $100, though there do exist some DVD VCR combo players I'll put up on screen that I've sold for over $300. Now, why do these go for a lot of money? Well, the main reason is because they don't make these things anymore. I'm sure you know that DVDs and VHSs just don't get created anymore. People don't make movies on them anymore, so these are a dying breed. There's only a certain number of these left, and as more and more stop working, as more and more people get into the hobby of collecting VHSs, these are just gonna go up and up. You can see I paid $13 for this bad boy, and even if it doesn't work, this thing still goes for $40 because people have a hobby of fixing these up and then reselling them back onto eBay. You can find these everywhere, just like the waffle maker. Go to your thrift store, there's probably gonna be a few, but you gotta look out for really good brands. You always have to make sure to look up each individual model number because there are some that don't go for as much, and mainly there are some that just don't sell that fast. But usually if you get a good model like a Sony or a Magnavox or a Philips, it's probably gonna sell pretty quickly. Make sure to test them before you sell them because these things can have issues. And if possible, test them before you buy them at the thrift store. Our next item on the list is an item that made me want to make this video in the first place. And that's this. This is a bowl that goes to a Cuisinart food processor that was made in 1977. And the last time this sold, it sold for $250 plus shipping. Now, why would somebody pay that much money for a replacement food processor bowl? Well, there's a few reasons. One, because this cannot be made again, or at least you can't buy an OEM one. There do exist brand new ones made by, Chinese manufacturers. They can get for like $50, but so few of these exist that people are willing to pay hundreds of dollars for this, because without this, you can't use your food processor. So there's so much demand for something like this that even though there are only a few listed and a few sold, the ones that do sell for a lot of money. I currently have mine listed for 120, mainly because there are a lot more listed than usual. So I'm just trying to get this thing out fast. But this, along with the other pieces, go for a lot of money. You could probably already tell, but this is a lot bigger than a normal bowl for a food processor. And that's because this is 20 cups. 20 cups is a lot. Usually food processors will range between 8 and 15 cups. So having this for 20 cup definitely adds to the value factor. This is the largest food processor Cuisinart has ever made. And to buy the entire food processor together, which I have sold, would cost between $500 and $600, which is just insane. So this is the point of this entire video, in that 99% of people don't even know something like this exists. They don't think that someone is willing to pay hundreds of dollars for a food processor part. But the thing is, people are, because people have very weird hobbies. They justify paying a lot of money for this because their food processor from 1977 still works, so why buy a new one? It's big, it can hold a lot of ingredients if you want to make stuff in batch, and it's just fun to have a little piece of history like this. But most resellers won't even recognize this. They might recognize the shape because there are Cuisinart food processor parts that look like this, but they usually only go for between $20 and $40. But this one goes for hundreds. So what gives? Well, remember, it all goes back to they don't make it like they used to. If you have sold Cuisinart food processor parts, especially ones that are vintage, you might have noticed that you can sell the bowl, the lid, the pusher, and the blade, but for some reason the motor, the actual thing that gives it power, never sells. And that's because back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, companies used to make their items with passion to last. So the odds that your machine were to break down or burn up were basically zero. So people don't need to buy the motors. Whenever I buy Cuisinart food processor parts from thrift stores or garage sales, 99% of the time I throw out the motor because I don't need it. It's not needed because what am I going to sell it for $20 and it's going to take 6 months to sell? I'd rather just pull the parts I can and just be on my way. By the way, this is the DLC-X model if you want to look it up for yourself. I bought the entire unit, all the parts, including the motor, for $50 on Facebook Marketplace. The lid has already sold for $100. The pusher has already sold for $70. The blade has sold for $50. And I'm still waiting on the motor and the bowl to sell. And the bowl and motor are each listed for $125. Buying these food processor parts when you're at the thrift store, even if it's not something that goes for $100, it's still gonna be worth it. Because thrift stores are gonna charge you between $10 and $30 for a food processor, and you can get between $50 and $150 worth of parts. Next up on the list are old video game consoles. Now, you don't need to sell old video games like this. This is the Nintendo 64. I sold this guy complete in box for $160 plus shipping. Any old video game consoles are gonna do really well, even down to the PS1 and the Xbox 360. And once you get into the PS4, NES, and Sega Dreamcast, those can definitely go for over $100. People pay a lot of money for these because they don't make them anymore, and it's a really fun hobby. People really get into it. Even I collect video games, but you know, I couldn't pass up on selling this for a lot of money. You're not really going to be able to find these at thrift stores because thrift stores know about these, so they're going to pull them off and sell them on their own, which, you know, sucks, but that's just how it is. Your best bet for finding video game consoles are at garage sales, flea markets, and Facebook Marketplace. Just know with Facebook Marketplace, you're going to have to compete with a lot of different people, and there have been plenty of times where I thought I was going to get the deal because the listing was only a few minutes old, and turns out someone already beat me to it. And with garage sales, the same thing. You got to get there early. You got to ask for them. And many people nowadays are starting to charge a lot more because they know that they're worth a lot. Next up on the list are the CDRs. Now, if you're too young to remember, CDRs are little CDs like this, DVDs, that allow you to burn information on them. So if you wanted to record a home video and burn it on a CD, you would use one of these. Now, you can probably imagine why this is on the list. Like all the other ones on the list, they do not make these anymore, or at least they don't make ones of this high quality anymore because people don't use CDs or DVDs. They use USB sticks. They use all other kind of things. They use internal data. They don't need blank discs anymore. Now, most of CDRs aren't going to be going for over $100. Most of them will range between $15 and $30 plus shipping on eBay, but you can find some that go for a lot more. This is made by HP. This is mainly the most expensive one that you can find. I got this for only $7 at a Goodwill, so really made it out great with these. Now, you can really only find these at thrift stores and maybe garage sales because thrift stores, they don't really know that these things have value. Same thing with garage sales. You're not really going to be finding these on Facebook Marketplace because usually people on Facebook Marketplace look up their items before selling them, so they're going to upcharge you for this. Same thing with flea markets. So if you're at a thrift store, make sure to go to the office section and look to see if they have these. There are some that go for between $50 and $60 that I find on a somewhat regular basis. The last time this sold was for $125 plus shipping, which is what I have mine listed for. Next up on the list are KitchenAid mixers. Now, KitchenAid isn't the only mixer that you can find that's worth a lot. Bosch makes really good vintage mixers that go for hundreds of dollars. But KitchenAid is going to be the one that you're going to be able to find the most consistently and consistently go for over $100. I have this one listed for $100 and I have another one that I have listed for over $200. Now, KitchenAid mixers, they go for a lot of money because they're high quality, they're durable, and they work as intended, especially if you can find older ones that are still in really good condition. Now, thrift stores are going to be overcharging these. I paid, I believe, $50 for this one, and I'm selling selling it for 100, so my margins aren't going to be that great on it. But sometimes, especially if you can get it on a discount, on discount days at thrift stores, you can really get it for a good price and then sell it for a lot. You can find tons of these on Facebook, on pawn shops, flea markets, and garage sales for $20 to $50 and sell them for over $100. Some of these even go for over $1,000. So you gotta hunt for these. Make sure that they work. Most of these have 10 speeds. You can see here, this one has 10 different speeds. You have to make sure each individual speed works, because sometimes 1 or 2 speeds will work, but then the other ones won't, or that they're the same speed as a different number. You have to make sure you're looking out for that. But yeah, also make sure it has the bowl. I just don't have the bowl on this one, and it comes with a certain amount of attachments. The more attachments, the more you can demand money for it. The less attachments, the less money you'll get for it. Make sure you clean these out. Sometimes you'll just need to degrease it. Sometimes just rub some Goo Gone on the top and it'll be good as new.